So you want to build Black Widow, huh? Well, I just finished building her as my alt. Star-Lord was my main. If I ever had any regrets I ever wanted to say to anyone, it would be building Star-Lord as your main. Don't do it. He's a lot of fun. I like his music. I like what he says, and he has a fun character to pilot, but pretty trashy in almost every game mode. So let's talk about Black Widow a little bit. So first things first with Black Widow, her single target damage is probably the best of any in the game. And she has like a really clean way of applying that damage. And her ultimate is pretty insane when you break it down. And I'll describe to you guys why that is and how that works. But I think first things first, let's just show you how the ultimate works here. And then I'll walk through some of the skills. Basically, you get 3 charges when your ultimate is fully charged. When you tap it, you're going to vanish. I think it's for 5 seconds. And then you can apply an ability, and the next ability you do will do automatic critical hit to anyone you attack. And you can see this in the skill description. And I need to level her up a lot. I just haven't had the gold after upgrading my Star-Lord. So again, bad choices. But here you see Vanish. Increased damage by 36.34% when attacking while vanished. Critical hit when attacking while vanished. So this it doesn't increase the critical damage percentage. It's the pure attack. So the way to build Black Widow without even really thinking about it too long and hard is to just do crit damage. You're getting a guaranteed crit hit plus increased base attack. That's going to be again multiplied by your critical damage modifier. So, first things first, whenever you're building her, you want to be looking at 2 skills. Number 1, Firearm Expert. And in my experience, number 2, Widow Sting. Widow Sting isn't quite as good because it does these like multiple procs. You see here 872% damage at level 9. This is at level 15. And then I can upgrade it even further. And we're going to get to the armor build and why I did this. Notice I didn't even bother upgrading this ability or a bunch of the other abilities. None of them matter. This is literally like if you're building Black Widow, I don't care how you're building her or what you're doing with her. This is the skill. Just have this skill. You could be somebody who really wants to do espionage devices. Cool. Well, the one downside about Black Widow is with a lot of the other hero armor sets, each region set gives you like a buff to a certain type of attack that you can use that same type of attack on a whole bunch of different moves. That doesn't work for Black Widow. You'll see each of these ones are deadly aim within the tree. There are no skill trees that change. So like the first one is close quarters, then deadly aim, then espionage devices, espionage devices, espionage devices, close quarters, deadly aim, close quarters. So like you have 3 close quarters, 1, 2, 3. 3 of the espionage devices, 1, 2, and I think 3. Oh yeah, they're all right in a row. 1, 2, 3, and then you just have 2 deadly aims. So there are only 2 deadly aims. And the regional piece for that is Midgardia. So you can come in here to collections, costumes. And Midgardia has deadly aim class skill set by +6. So you are getting that on 2 of them. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have been farming for regional gear since day 1. I guess my day 1 was like day 2.5 for the game. But since I started the game, I've been farming it, and I haven't pulled a single one. And I know a lot of other people are in a similar situation, or if they did pull one, they pulled another head, like pulled another face, hair, whatever it is for your character, helmet. So that's a big bummer, and I just kind of accepted that I wasn't going to be able to do that with Black Widow. I have been farming it, and I'm going to keep farming it, and like eventually in 3 months, I'll probably have all the pieces, but... Mobile Gamer broke down the odds of getting it, and if your odds are like 1 in 100 for pulling it, you can only make 4 to 5 armor pulls a day based on your sim particles. You're only going to be able to you're going to have to make 100 draws in order to get one of those, 400 draws if you get absolute perfection on each of the drops with only one mulligan for the head. But you might also want to re-pull the head because you pulled crappy stats, which my Star-Lord stats are amazing, but the Black Widow stats on my Midgardia headset, even though I like wearing it for the cosmetic, are not great. So, you know, anyway, the point being, none of those are going to be good, but you do get a bunch of Red Widows. And Red Widow is the armor you want to build for her. The reason for that being, it gives you Firearm Expert Skill +4 at just level 3, and then it goes up. If you build 6-star, then it gives you +6. And Firearm Expert is the only skill that matters. So you're getting this massive increased damage. And you see, like, when I go one more level up, this goes from like 1114 to 1158. So I'm going to go up by about 45% every time I upgrade this for another 5 times, or 12, 13, 14, 15. So another 4 times. So like another 120% damage. And remember, that's base damage, multiplying that by the next thing that's important, which are the other stats. So crit rate is helpful just for like whenever you're not using your ultimate. So it is nice, but crit damage is really what you want to be building. So, and you get that mostly, in my experience, on the body. I think you can also get it on the head, but you can't get it on the defensive stat rolls or the HP stat rolls. So I think the first thing you want to build is critical damage. Next thing you want to build is ultimate skill bar. And then the next one is cooldown decrease or stamina skill bar. But honestly, you don't even really need to do stamina. She will run out of stamina quickly if you set her on auto. So like, I'll set this on auto, and you'll watch her stamina skill bar goes down by quite a lot. I don't have base stamina increases because I'm focused on getting crit damage. And so you watch this deplete pretty quickly. By the time I cycle through all the skills, it's pretty much gone. And then when I come through on the second cycle, it's going to be all disappeared, right? So it doesn't quite refill all the way every time I do it. So I'm going to run out of my stamina bar, which is the yellow bar. If you don't know that, that's a new tip. So, you know, stamina regain might be something you initially might think, oh, I need to build that. But you don't, because you rarely, when you're playing in content that matters with Black Widow, and we'll jump into a blitz here to show you, you rarely want to play her on auto. The reason for that is you need to time the ultimate and the assassinate exactly together, and you can use the ultimate fairly frequently because you only have to charge it to 1/3 full in order to use it on her. So just take it off auto. Make sure you're clicking the ultimate and using it with assassin as soon as the cooldown becomes available, and then just use the other ones as are making sense. And we'll walk through a blitz just to show you what I mean by that. So, but first things first, start focusing on the Red Widow armor. That's what you're going to be building from the beginning. Next, for your badges, you actually want as many of the green cores as possible, because green cores are what give you crit damage. Red cores give you crit rate, which I see a lot of other streamers building, but green cores are what give you crit damage. So nothing else really matters. I actually just pulled another 4, but it was a defense pierce, so that was kind of a bummer. So, but you see here, I have 2 at crit damage. This one's crit damage. And as soon as I pull another badge that can replace those ones, I'm going to be looking for greens and basically just building Black Widow to have all level 100 battle badges with green cores and double green cores as much as possible. That's going to allow me to get as much crit damage as possible. So again, if you can, you want it on the body and you want it on the helmet. I have gone, and these are actually much better to farm too, because you get a lot of these Red Widow drops. So you can keep farming these to try to get the rolls that are going to work for you so far as those crit rate ones. So here you see like debuff accuracy, trash on Black Widow. Like, yes, she does have some bleed, she has a poison, she has some shock, but none of them are great, and you don't want to be doing debuff accuracy with her. You just want to be murdering people with your assassinate. Okay, so in here you're going to come through and see my crit rate is 17.5%, which is rather trash. I don't care, because I'm just focused on this crit damage with the ultimate because it is so much value. Oh, looks like there's a Malekith just dropped, so we'll come down here and we'll do him before we jump into a blitz as well, so you can see on a most wanted. And mine is only like 240k just because I haven't had a chance to upgrade all her stuff, but you're gonna see her hang with the big boys on these prime targets just because she does so much damage. So here I'm up to 151% crit damage. So every time I'm using my ultimate, which I should upgrade again because I need the increased base damage. Every time I'm doing this, look, I'm getting nearly almost 40% increased damage rate. So when I'm attacking here, it looks like this is 1290 plus another 40%. Is like 1340 times that crit rate increase of 150%. So I'm just like min-maxing all of her damage stats. So here we just want to come in and we turn off auto, and then we just start sniping on Malekith. Stay focused on him. He likes to disappear, which is kind of annoying. And then you just like use your other ones. Make sure your stamina bar is refilling on time. I have full ultimate gauge, so I want to be getting that value. And you can see here, I'm already at level 1. You're like, oh, you haven't hit him though. It doesn't matter. Like, I have one attack that matters. It does 160 to 200,000 damage every time I do it. Like, it's like nothing else that she does really matters that much. All of her other attacks do fairly minuscule amounts of damage, other than the deadly aim skills. So just don't worry about it. So he goes invisible. It's super obnoxious. Well, I mean, some of these other people aren't level 100. That's true. But you're just seeing us like run away with the score, just absolutely demolishing everybody else with Black Widow here. Now Malekith isn't my preferred farm for Midgardia. Loki is, because I'm trying to get as many of those that 4-card set, which I'll walk through her Omega cards in just a second. I don't have great like 4-drops on Omega cards. One thing they also need to change here, like there's space right up in here. They need to have the your guard damage up to show how much damage you can still take in your guard. Drives me nuts. Like, it'll tell you who he's focusing on, but not. So you just got to get him before he disappears. And it'll show you his guard damage, but doesn't show you your individual characters. So when he's down, I'll use the ultimate skill bar again on the other one. Because here you're seeing like 4 procs of 30 to 40,000, which gets me up to like 160 again. So it's like pretty close. But the assassin is just better. Just pure monster damage, absolutely destroying Malekith here. And it's a skill that you level up. I think you get the 3rd set by level 75. It might be 72, but you get it pretty fast. You get it while you're still in Midgardia, so you can definitely use it throughout all of Sakaar. And it's really good against groups of adds. You just have to run around to get them all to line up, and then you can knock it out and use it really effectively. And a lot of her attacks, Assassinate also spins you backwards, so you can kind of like cycle outside of the damage range of a lot of the attacks, so, or kiting as a lot of people like to call it. So, and that allows you to stay out of the zone of fire. It's also helpful if you've seen my Dark Zone video, and just kind of staying out of the way in Dark Zone and putting up like a reasonable amount of damage with only one attack. So I'm out here, just wait for him to show back up again. Knock him down with our attacks. I do like the Widow's Wire against mobs too, but it's like reasonable damage against an individual unit or player. But here we're like double number 2. I don't know what level. I'm trying to find psychos in here. But I can't know what his gear is either or any of that stuff. So, but here we got the, oh, I actually hadn't gotten all my rewards. So we got number 1, which is really helpful. You get 3 of the card drops. We'll just claim those right now because, you know, it's cool. Why not open those? I've been opening most of my Omega cards on her because she is where I'm getting the best reward. Star-Lord's still my kind of AFK farmer because I already built that up. None of these are rares, but we did get 2 3s, so I'm actually not super displeased with that. And then these ones are from Dark Zone, all commons as well. So, but jumping into her Omega cards, she right now I've already got my the number 6 set for her, which gives me 11% crit damage. This Loki card gives me crit damage, and I think so this is, I have total damage increases here, PvP damage decrease, total damage, PvP damage increase is the subset on this bonus option for that card. Defense pierce, so lots of good. These are all kind of like attack based cards, so that's kind of nice for me. I mean, this one gives you HP, but the substats are getting me damage tag, so that's great. And then I have this one as crit damage, and this one as supervillain decrease. I don't have that many 4s, so, and it's not even making a set with this 5. So that's what I'm building over the next few days. Just trying to rack up my cards right now. So that's that. We covered badges, we covered armor, we covered skills. So you can build her a few different ways. My recommendation is just prioritize this as number 1. It's all your damage, even when you're doing her auto, which you shouldn't be doing very much. Still most damage. This should be priority 2. Second most damage. Everything else is kind of trash. Like, I mean, you could get this nominally up higher, but it's such a long animation. And she is, because you're building her pure crit damage, she's very squishy. She doesn't have very high base health stats or defense stats already, but you aren't investing in those stats at all with her, nor should you be. You're just running away. She turns into Vanish, and literally no one can target you when that happens. They can use AoE, but they can't see where you are. So as long as you just like run away, you'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, some of these, like this Cleave Tackle is high guard break, so she does have like a few high guard break attacks, but not very many. So she's not the one who's doing the guard break. I think as we kind of develop more teams, and your alliance develops more teams, you certainly can't have an alliance where everyone's playing Black Widow. But as long as you're farming Omega cards, especially as a free-to-play player, she's just the best. She's the best character to use to farm cards. At just these and in Midgardia is like the best place to go farm your cards anyway. So for me, she makes the most sense to do that. I think it's totally worth your time to build her up. I showed you against this most wanted, so I'm not going to jump into a blitz. No reason to take you through that. Potential, last thing. When you're building the potential for her, you can do the attack. I just built it because the base attack is helpful. It's not super required. You definitely want accuracy rate is gonna, according to the devs, makes your min-max hit higher, increases your chance of getting critical hits, and when you get critical hits, to hit the maximum critical damage. So I don't know, it sounded like it'd be cool, so I did that, and it's been good for me. But ultimate skill gauge recovery, crit damage. Anything you do other than those 3 honestly doesn't matter all that much. I think accuracy is probably the one that makes the next sense. And then crit attacks. And you can build crit rate as well. You know, whenever she's not in Vanish, that'll increase her crit rate, so she's getting more of those procs at that high damage. And she has a lot of, and whenever for any other attack that is not the assassinate, you want to just have as many procs as possible, because you want to get as many chances of hitting a crit damage hit as possible. See here, I'm getting none. I'm at 17%, so there was 1 right there. Her basic does hit pretty quickly, and she actually has, very different from other characters, she has 2 options for basics. She does not mind being up close and personal. She will not like automatically roll away, but she does this kick on her basic when you're up close, when you're at distance, or they're flying and you're shooting up at them. she uses her gun. So, and she'll swap back and forth depending on who's there, and she will damage multiple units at the same time when using her basic when it is up close and personal. So, she actually is fairly balanced in that respect. She's just very squishy, so just be careful, don't get murdered. And she is super fun in Omega War. Yeah, maybe I'll do an Omega War Tips version 2.0 right following this video. So do that. Have fun. She's a great character. Last but not least, specializations. This one right here is the one I'm aiming for first. I unfortunately started investing on Star-Lord and then changed my decision to start investing more on Black Widow. So I ran out of reds obnoxiously, even though I have like 37 of these and 48 of these and no reds. But you want this purple one right here. Vanishes for 2 seconds, recovers 3% of max HP upon sustaining fatal damage, and then that's going to increase each of these. Cooldown goes down, vanish goes up for a longer period of time, and your recovery goes up by higher HP. So that one's cool. I also will be building increases damage dealt to a single target. I don't exactly know what this is calculated as, but sure, that one's probably fine. Bleed is only helpful in PvP, and it only reduces HP recovery by 20%. So when they use med packs, it's not as effective. Or if they have HP recovery, it's not as effective. So it's fine. I'm not going to stick with that. I'll instead be building these ones. Increase crit damage by 2 deadly aim skills, which I'm totally doing. There are only 2, but increase that crit damage. Increase crit damage. Not the dodge rate. It keeps clicking on the wrong thing. Increase PvP damage when using close quarters combat skill. That's fine. Not great. This one's fine. Not great. Guard damage. Not great. She doesn't do that much guard damage anyway. Decreased damage incoming is fine. Increased dodge skill gauge recovery whenever HP is 30% or below is probably the other one I'll choose for her. She does need to dodge a lot. And then decreased cooldown of all skills by 2% when using espionage devices is probably the other one I'll use, just to try to get that assassinate refreshed faster. But I'll need to build the ultimate skill gauge faster. Typically, the assassinate and the skill gauge come available right at about the same time for me right now. It looks like I just missed this Omega War, so we'll be doing it the next time. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this. How are you building your Black Widow? Do you have other thoughts, tips, tricks, or ideas? Let me know in the comments down below. Till next time, though, good luck out there. Have fun and keep on gaming. Bye for now.